That's exactly what I'm saying, because
Go
I
ahead.
think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, and we're not putting the best team out.
WNBA analysts think. What actually goes through their brain? How can EPSN employ these people to talk about WNBA and display these kind of opinions?
We just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented.
Molly Karam, a well-known ESPN host, ignited a significant controversy in the sports world with her remarks regarding Caitlin Clark, one of the rising stars of the WNBA. Her comments on live television not only sparked outrage, triggered a widespread debate about how female athletes, particularly in the WNBA, are and analyzed by the media. Karam suggested that players like Caitlin Clark, despite drawing massive attention and viewership, were ultimately a mockery of women's basketball. According to Karam, Clark's presence in the sport was more of a marketing gimmick rather than a reflection of her actual talent. This bold claim quickly stirred emotions among fans, analysts, and players. In a league where players constantly have to prove their worth and battle for recognition, downplaying the achievements of someone like Caitlin Clark felt not only unjust, but deeply misinformed. The uproar that followed raised significant questions about the biases present in sports commentary, particularly in the coverage of women's sports.
All I gotta say is she's lucky this UConn team isn't healthy. And that's a true statement.
That's wrong, Molly.
Monica?
That's wrong, Molly. Molly,
like
it's excuses.
5 top players,
it's excuses,
am I right?
Molly. It's excuses.
Major injuries.
You would not be saying that if it wasn't UConn.
Major stars not playing.
Listen, excuse me, it's her against Caitlin Clark.
Stephen A.
Ain't no excuses.
Stephen
you
A.
got there.
Wait a minute.
No want to hear that now.
Stephen A.
Let me tell you, if
Paige
Georgetown
Becker-
gets back in the mix, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm just telling you that now.
What?
If Paige Beckerson basically missed 2 seasons, I don't know if we'd be talking
Come
about
on now.
Caitlin Clark the way we are now.
Caitlin Clark first made waves during her college basketball career, where her performance on the court was nothing short of spectacular. She quickly became a household name, not just for her scoring ability, but for her incredible basketball IQ, her playmaking skills, and her leadership on the court. Clark was a standout at the University of Iowa, where she consistently led her team to victories and set numerous records along the way. Her ability to hit deep three-pointers, create scoring opportunities for her teammates, and perform under pressure made her one of the most exciting players to watch. Many analysts and fans began to compare her to some of the all-time greats in women's basketball, and it seemed inevitable that she would make an immediate impact in the WNBA. However, despite her stellar college career, Caitlin Clark faced an uphill battle when it came to gaining respect from some corners of the sports media. This brings us to Molly Karam's controversial remarks, which not only downplayed Clark's abilities but also highlighted a larger issue within the way women's sports are covered by major media outlets. When Molly Karam took to the airwaves to voice her opinion on Caitlin Clark, she didn't hold back. Karam claimed that players like Clark were not truly adding value to the WNBA, but were instead drawing attention to the sport for the wrong reasons. Clark's massive fan base and media attention were more about her marketability than her talent on the basketball court. She went as far as to suggest that Clark's presence in the league was a mockery of the women's game, implying that she wasn't talented enough to be considered one of the best players in the WNBA. She went as far as to suggest that Clark's presence in the league was a mockery of the women's game, implying that she wasn't talented enough to be considered one of the best players in the WNBA. Although such controversy around her name, Caitlin has continued to do her thing out on the pitch, breaking records, and goes around with so much aura, refusing to listen to analysts, and instead is so classy with everything she does. Caitlin refuses to get caught up with what people have to say about her, and instead lets her talking play out with the ball. These comments were not only harsh, but also seem to dismiss the hard work and dedication that Caitlin Clark had put into becoming the player she is today. For a young player like Clark, who had proven herself time and time again, hearing such public criticism from a prominent figure in sports media had to be disheartening. But more than just a personal attack on Clark Karam's comments reflected a deeper issue: the tendency for certain media personalities to downplay the achievements of female athletes, even when those athletes are breaking records and setting new standards of excellence in their respective sports. One of the points that Molly Karam harped on, Caitlin Clark was merely drawing attention to the WNBA. Sport appeal is precisely what the league needs to continue growing and gaining respect on a larger scale. Comments, however, seem to frame this increased attention as a negative, as though the WNBA was somehow being cheapened by the presence of a player who could attract more viewers. This perspective ignores the reality that in professional sports, viewership and marketability are crucial to the success and sustainability of a league. If Caitlin Clark is helping to bring more fans to the WNBA, while also performing at an elite level, she is doing exactly what the league needs in order to thrive. Another aspect of Molly Qerim's criticism that sparked outrage was her stance on Caitlin Clark's exclusion from Team USA, despite her impressive college career and undeniable talent. This decision raised eyebrows among many fans. Qerim openly supported it, expressing satisfaction that Clark had been left off the roster. Although getting left out, Clark remained humble and realized how hard a task it is to play in the Olympics with USA, and revealed she will continue to improve and hope to get selected for 2028. Again, she oozes aura.
I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way, of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics, so it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. It's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Isn't good enough to compete at the international level, a claim that many found baffling given Clark's dominant performances in the NCAA. To suggest that a player of Clark's caliber didn't belong on Team USA seemed not only misguided, but also indicative of a deeper bias against her. For Qerim to publicly celebrate Clark's exclusion felt like an unnecessary attack on a young player who was already facing an uphill battle for recognition in the professional ranks. As is often the case in sports, the best way to silence critics is through performance, and Caitlin Clark has done just that. In the wake of Qerim's harsh comments and her exclusion from Team USA, Clark has continued to let her game do the talking. WNBA, particularly against top teams like the Chicago Sky and the Los Angeles Sparks, have been nothing short of spectacular. In these games, Clark showcased the full range of her abilities, from her scoring prowess to her playmaking skills to her ability to elevate the play of her teammates. She not only led her team to victories, but did so in a manner that left no doubt about her talent. Triple-doubles, game-winning shots, and clutch performances have become a regular occurrence for Clark, and her stats speak for themselves. It wasn't long before Molly Qerim began to change her tune. After witnessing Clark's incredible performances, walked back some of her earlier comments claiming that she had never truly doubted Clark's talent. Praised Clark as one of the best players in the league, a stark contrast to her earlier statements. While it's commendable that Qerim eventually recognized Clark's abilities, the sudden shift in opinion raised questions about the credibility of her initial critique. Molly Qerim's flip-flop on Caitlin Clark is not an isolated incident. It is part of a larger issue within the media landscape, particularly when it comes to coverage of women's sports. Too often, analysts and commentators are quick to make bold, sweeping judgments about players without fully understanding their abilities or the nuances of the game. In Clark's case, the initial dismissal of her talent was not only unfair, but also indicative of a broader problem in how female athletes are covered.
If you want to vote for Angel Reese, just be honest for the reason why you're voting for her. Caitlin Clark leads all rookies in pretty much every statistic except rebounding. And Angel Reese is a big, and she should be beating most people in rebounds, but you escape the fact that she's collecting 2 or 3 of her own missed layups and hoarding those rebounds. Caitlin Clark has turnovers because her teammates are fumbling the ball. And yes, she does mismanage the ball at times, but people act like she's just giving the ball up every possession. Caitlin Clark affects the entire game. So if you're making a basketball decision, then Caitlin Clark is easily the rookie of the year. And if you want to vote for Angel Reese or you say Angel Reese is rookie of the year, that's cool too. Just be honest about the reason why you think.
Is damaging not just to the players, but to the credibility of the league as a whole. When media personalities change their opinions so frequently, it creates a sense of instability and undermines the legitimacy of the sport. Fans are left wondering whether these analysts truly know what they're talking about, or if they're simply saying whatever will generate the most buzz or fit the narrative of the moment. This is particularly harmful in a league like the WNBA, which is still fighting for the recognition it deserves. When analysts make ill-informed or biased comments, and seriously as a major professional sports organization, players like Caitlin Clark, who are working tirelessly to elevate the level of competition and bring more fans to the game. Such inconsistent analysis is not only frustrating, but also detrimental to the sport's growth. One of the reasons Molly Qerim's comments were so damaging is that analysts and commentators play a significant role in shaping public perception of athletes and sports leagues. In the case of the WNBA, where the league is still fighting for mainstream recognition, the way players are portrayed in the media can have a huge impact on how they are perceived by the general public. When a prominent figure like Qerim makes bold, unfounded claims about a player like Caitlin Clark, it influences how casual fans view that Clark is merely a marketing tool and not a legitimate talent, be less inclined to watch her play or support the league. This is why it's so important for analysts to be accurate and fair in their assessments, especially in a league like the WNBA, where every fan counts. Moreover, when analysts like Qerim reverse their opinions so quickly, it can create confusion among fans. If one day Caitlin Clark is being dismissed as a mockery of the game, and the next day she's being hailed as one of the best players in the league, it's hard for fans to know what to believe. This inconsistency can erode trust in the media and make it difficult for fans to fully engage with the league.
The year was picked today, I give it to Angel. There's still stuff about her game that I'm like, I wish she would have stayed another year. And that is just from an offensive standpoint of working on her post game, working on her post moves. I do think that'll come with time. To me, the stuff that Angel brings is, one, she gonna play hard, period. No matter who they're playing. And Kenyon, you can speak to this. Rebounding is about effort, and I want it more than you, and I'm just going to go get it. That is the best part of Angel's game right now. I think she's averaging a double-double.
12
that's
10.
impressive. That's impressive for anybody, let alone a rookie, to come in and do that.
Prominent figure who has been criticized for her handling of the Caitlin Clark situation is former WNBA star Sheryl Swoopes. Swoopes, a legend in her own right, has often avoided discussing Clark's accomplishments, leading some to speculate that there may be an element of jealousy involved. While it's impossible to know for sure what motivates Swoopes' reluctance to acknowledge Clark's achievements, it's clear that there is a certain discomfort among some former players and analysts when it comes to giving Clark the recognition she deserves, in part to the fact that Clark has achieved things in her rookie season few players in WNBA history have been able to do. Sheryl has continued to support Angel Reese in the race for Rookie of the Year, whilst fans believe there should be only one winner, and that is CC. Clark's ability to consistently put up triple-doubles and deliver game-changing performances has set her apart from many of her peers. In her rookie season alone, she has broken multiple records and achieved milestones that even some of the greatest players in the league's history haven't been able to reach. This level of success, especially at such a young age, can sometimes create tension among those who feel that their own legacies are being overshadowed. Criticisms. Caitlin Clark has had one of the most impressive rookie seasons in WNBA history. To perform at an elite level from the moment she stepped onto the court has been nothing short of extraordinary. Clark has consistently put up numbers that no other rookie has been able to achieve, including multiple triple-doubles and game-winning performances. What makes Clark's achievements even more remarkable is the fact that she is doing all of this while carrying the Indiana Fever, a team that has struggled in recent years. Clark's ability to lead her team and deliver in clutch moments has made her one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. Her talent is undeniable, and she has quickly established herself as one of the best players in the WNBA. One of the most significant aspects of Clark's rookie season has been her ability to silence her critics through her performance. Analysts who once doubted her talent or dismissed her as a marketing tool have had no choice but to acknowledge her greatness. The records she has broken and the milestones she has achieved speak for themselves, and it's clear that Caitlin Clark is not just a big name in women's basketball, she's a bona fide superstar. One of the most frustrating aspects of the Caitlin Clark controversy is the disconnect between what analysts are saying and what is actually happening on the court. Too often, commentators in the WNBA seem out of touch with the reality of the game, offering opinions that are not based on fact or performance, but rather on personal biases or preconceived notions.
necessarily think you can slow her down. She's bound to get at least 20 every single game. You have to make her choose one. Like either she's going to be scoring that night or you're going to try to keep her scoring down and have her pass to her teammates more.
I agree with that mindset. When you're guarding someone like Caitlin Clark, you can't necessarily stop her, shut her down or anything. So you got to pick your battles with her. Like she's so good. She's going to have however many points regardless of how you decide to guard her.
The Paige and AZ show is presented by Buick, a proud partner of the NCAA.
Unfounded, but also completely out of sync with what she was accomplishing on the court. For analysts like Molly Karam to suggest that Clark was a mockery of the game, despite her record-breaking performances, highlights the larger issue of how women's basketball is covered in the media. There seems to be a lack of respect for the athletes and a tendency to downplay their achievements, even when those achievements are historic. Between analysts and the reality of the game is part of what makes it so WNBA to gain the recognition it deserves. When the people who are supposed to be experts on the sport are offering inconsistent or ill-informed analysis, it undermines the credibility of the league and makes it harder for fans to engage with the game. For players like Caitlin Clark, who are working tirelessly to elevate the level of competition and bring more fans to the sport, this type of analysis is not only frustrating but also damaging to the league's growth. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. More from our channel will be displayed on screen now. Thanks for watching.